Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning in to yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agriculture in New Directions Agribusiness. I am Wadzanai Manyore. So this is a platform where we seek to rectify the challenges and issues in the business side of agriculture. At the same time, we also seek to equip the Zimbabwean farmer with the business principles and knowledge on how to enhance their production activities. In this particular episode, I am joined by Marco. He is the chairman of the Agricultural Dealers and Manufacturers Association of right here in Zimbabwe. Marco, thank you for gracing our platform with your presence today.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Watson.
Thank you.
But as chairman of this association, what I'd like to emphasize is that the association is made up by member companies, and the objective of this annual show is to offer to the industry and our farmers an opportunity to interact and for our farmers to embrace the new technologies which are taking place around the world in farming mechanization. Mechanization cannot be overemphasized.
Yes.
It increases, it lowers the cost of production.
That's true.
And increases, in many respects, the yield output and therefore the viability of the farmers.
Okay.
But what I'd also like to emphasize is that this show, whilst there is some very expensive equipment,
Okay.
we do appeal to the broad spectrum farming community. We have from ox-drawn equipment
Yes.
right through to 500, 600 horsepower tractors for the very, very big commercial farming operations.
Yes.
But if one was to visit here as a small-scale farmer, as an example, you would be able to investigate, which in my opinion is one of the most important issues in farming today, would be irrigation.
That's true.
So on the irrigation side, we have some simple drip irrigation systems.
Okay.
The systems can be put in reasonably inexpensively, and they can be powered by solar.
Okay. Like natural energy.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have, I was viewing yesterday, a simple installation which has 12 solar panels, and that generates enough power to pump a borehole
Yes.
and do a reasonable size of drip irrigation for your crop.
Yes.
And so farmers mustn't be intimidated by the equipment that's on
They
display.
have the machinery, they have the tractors and stuff.
There is other equipment available which embraces our small-scale farmers.
Okay, and we are talking of machinery, we are talking of mechanization, how it enhances production. What could you cite as some of the advantages that come to the local farmer with embracing the new farming technologies that are being advanced by our local manufacturers?
Well, traditionally our farmers have had to wait for the first rains in order for them to begin land preparation.
That's very true.
With mechanization, land preparation can begin early in the season.
Yes.
Okay? And that is a big advantage to when the first rains fall, one has to get their crop in.
Yes.
Because what we're seeing with the recent years is that we're having this small drought period, right at tasseling time in our maize.
Yes.
And we're losing massive production. If you go to the commercial farmers, for example, that have been able to prepare their lands and dry plant, and with the first rains they get emergence,
Yes.
most of the time, before we get that dry spell in the middle of the season, that crop has passed that critical period.
Yes, which affects the yield. And some of the crop, if you look at the trend in climatic conditions, most of them end up being write-off. You don't expect much. Farmers are unable to repay their debts. Now, coming to that aspect, the economic aspect, because the name of the show is agribusiness, of course, how do you think farming technologies are going to improve the livelihood of the local farmer, are going to address issues to do with the budget deficit, issues to do with import substitute, trade imbalance, economically, these implements, how are going to bring in advantages to our local farmers?
Well, look, currently agriculture only contributes 14% to GDP.
Okay, okay.
On average, in the region,
Yes.
we could be at about 26%
Okay,
of GDP.
okay.
So the agricultural industry has an opportunity with tremendous growth.
Yes,
Okay? It has been hampered by the currency issues,
yes,
but I honestly believe that we are coming to a point where we will stabilize that,
yes,
and our farmers will be in a position and to be able to acquire machinery.
yes.
Government is also taking steps to make machinery available
Yes.
through AgriBank on a 5-year program.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been signed off on, but that is the intention.
Okay.
So what we have to recognize is that government is working in
Is
this
making
direction.
efforts and strides.
That's right.
Yes. Now, coming to back, talking of farming machinery and implements, what is your general comment at the moment? Our local farmers, our smallholder farmers, our commercial farmers, your general comment, given statistics that you have, you're in the industry, in terms of adoption of these technologies, what can you say? Are they adapting it? Are they shying away from it? Are they interested? Is it because of maybe being unable to afford, or what could it be? What's your comment?
Simply financial restriction.
Okay.
Okay, we have many visitors onto the stand here, and the first question they ask,
Yes.
do you have any finance scheme or financing facility?
Okay, like a payment plan.
Payment plan.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the industry
Yes.
is not getting financial support.
Yes.
Okay, and so these farmers haven't the ability, even though they understand the need to mechanization
Yes.
and to put in irrigation systems,
Yes.
but they just financing is a big issue in the industry.
Yes. But in terms of looking maybe 5 years from now, given that you're saying that our farmers and people who are coming to various stands are showing interest, they are willing, they are just maybe restrained because of being unable to afford. Maybe looking into the future, what do you think these farming technologies are going to achieve in the long run, in the future? And look, maybe 5 years from now, we are talking of future generations, the young ones who want to get into the industry, who want to get into farming. What are farming technologies going to achieve? And look into the future in insight.
I think there's a great future
Yes.
in agriculture.
Yes.
And certainly if one was interested in farming activities,
Yes.
I think over the next 5 years, Zimbabwe will strive to meet food security.
Yes.
And in order to achieve that,
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the agricultural industry.
Yes.
And if one is able to, but one must also focus on irrigation. Irrigation is
true.
going to be a very important aspect of successful farming.
Yes, we cannot rely on rain-fed agriculture year in, year out. That's true.
You know, you would be surprised at how small a field a family can survive on.
Yes.
I can just give you an example. If you took a bucket of maize,
Yes.
right, that can sustain a family for a week.
Yes.
So you need 50, 52, 56
Buckets of maize.
buckets of maize to sustain a family.
Yes.
How many maize plants fills a bucket?
52 buckets.
Right.
Yes.
No, 36 plants.
Oh, okay. Okay.
36 maize plants,
Okay.
cobs,
Yes.
fills a bucket.
Okay.
So your field only need to be 36 plants long,
Yes.
wide,
Yes.
by 56 rows.
Okay.
That will sustain a family.
Yes.
Right. if you are able to fertigate that and irrigate that to the thing. That's all that needs to sustain a family, a normal family for the year.
Thank you, Marcos. That was very precise. Now, viewers, there you had it. I was with Marcos, the chairman of the Agricultural Manufacturers and Dealers Association right here in Zimbabwe. He was talking of, at the last part of the episode, we are talking of food security. He was saying for a family, it needs maybe 1 bucket of maize to sustain them throughout the week. Now, if you look at it when it comes to production, we are talking of 36 plants of maize by 52 rows. Now, that is mathematics, and it can enhance our food security in the country. Join us again in the second segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to the BCTV. We are in the second segment of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. At this particular moment, I am joined by Franz. He is the Regional Sales Manager of TJ Technologies right here in Zimbabwe. I am also with Francois, the Product Support Specialist of Case Agricon right here in Zimbabwe. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. I'm going to come to you, Franz. Talking of TJ Technologies, we understand that spraying mechanisms are very fundamental in agronomy. How does appropriate and effective spraying mechanism enhance productivity to a local farmer in Zimbabwe?
So what we're looking at going forward in production is guys need to become more and more accurate.
Yes.
Production costs are going up, so you need to get better yields in order to balance out your production costs.
Yes.
And looking forward, we are the market leaders when it comes to nozzle technology and application technology.
Yes.
So we look at right from the very entry-level farmer with a backpack, all the way to helicopters, self-propelled, aeroplane application.
Yes.
We constantly fine-tuning our products and our technologies to get the best possible results
Yes.
with the lowest possible inputs.
Yes.
And that is our goal, that is our aim.
Yes, thank you. That was precise. Now, coming to you, Francois, we understand that it is a village of factors that cause a farmer to enhance productivity on his farm. Now, let's talk of conservation agriculture. What sort of implements would you say that these enhance productivity and they also conserve, moisture, given that we are facing climatic changes and issues to do with that?
One of the things to look, if you're looking at conservation practices or conservation technology, even looking at things like TJET spray nozzles, we are trying to implement systems that are going to give us the most performance with the least amount of inputs.
Yes.
Be it tillage, be it planting, be it application machines, spreading or spraying, we're trying to put machines that are going to do the job best with the best results and the best accuracy. Going into a conservation idea, to put chemicals down into a field and apply it incorrectly means you're losing 50 or 60% of your chemical's ability to control the problem you're spraying for.
Okay.
And that's affecting the environment because that's going into our rivers, it's going into there, it's going onto your neighbor's farm.
Pollution.
You're getting that kind of overspray problem. So looking at using especially things like TJ technologies, we can then now look at nozzles that are designed to control the way that the spraying is getting applied to the crop and that all the chemical is getting into that crop at the correct rate to do the correct job.
Okay.
And
Now,
also looking at spraying once. So instead of spraying multiple times because you didn't spray properly the first time,
yes,
it's one application, the job is done the first time correctly.
you're
Not
doing
over
it
and over and over
once
again.
off.
Once off.
It's not a matter of only doing it once, it's about putting all the chemical into the crop at the right time.
Effectively.
And not having to come and fix the job because you did it wrong.
Okay.
It's about getting the accuracy done the first time.
Now, coming to you guys, this is technology we are talking about. And look into the future and insight 5 years from now. What do you think these technological advancements are going to do to our agricultural industry in Zimbabwe?
One of the key things I think that we're going to see is improved tonnage, improved yield within the farms,
Yes.
and improved control with different problems in farms, be it pests, funguses, or weeds.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of problems at present with guys who are not spraying correctly, are having resistance building up in, for example, weeds.
Yes.
So they're now having to apply more chemicals to try and control that resistance.
Yes.
If we were able to teach the guys how to spray better and get the chemical to the the zone in a better manner,
Yes.
we can then now not build up this resistance, so we'll be able to spray things correctly. So in the future, we're going to have systems on farms that are going to be easier to manage.
Okay.
Whereas if we just let things go crazy now and the guys apply wrong, we're going to find in 5 years' time that we're going to have farms where some crops are not manageable anymore because the resistance built up in those, be it insects or be it, we've seen tuta absoluta causing a lot of problems.
That's true.
And they were getting sprayed wrong in the beginning.
Yes.
Now we're getting the spraying right, we managed to control the work. So if it's getting sprayed wrong, we're going to things like that run away from us, and we're not going to have control in the future.
Okay. Now, talking about spraying mechanisms, we understand that there are issues that come with looking at the economic side because the show is agribusiness. We are talking of fundamental business principles that are going to help a farmer to overcome challenges in the business industry. Now, talking of your technologies, looking at the moment that in Zimbabwe we have a good amount of small-scale farmers. What would you recommend at the moment to those farmers, the modern technologies that are sustainable and that are suitable for our small-scale farmers?
So I would definitely say embrace it. A lot of
Yes.
the guys are scared of modern technology.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it comes at a price.
Yes.
So technology is expensive.
That's true.
But if you've got to look at the bigger picture.
Yes.
It's not going to give you returns now.
Yes.
You've got to look at a year's time, 2 years' time,
It's
3
a
years' time.
long-term investment.
You'll immediately start seeing your yield will come up, your input costs will come down,
Yes.
everything will start becoming better.
Your management will become easier.
Yes.
TJ Technologies Africa is focused, or is a big part of our business strategy, is focusing on emerging farmers.
That's true.
We've got components and product specifically designed
Yes.
and targeting emerging or upcoming farmers, if you want to call it that. So we're looking into small-scale guys, we're looking at technology specifically designed around those guys
Yes.
to help them. And also a big part of our business strategy is to train people, so awareness.
Yes.
So we spend a lot of time and a lot of money traveling to different regions, hosting training sessions, teaching guys not just about TJ technology, but how to spray and how to
Yes.
do it properly.
Creating awareness.
Okay.
It's a big part of our business profile.
Yes. Now, Francois, there are issues to do with conservation agriculture. There are, production-threatening environment that is coming up. Looking at Zimbabwe, our commercial farmers, our small-scale farmers, what would you say about the implements that are being, produced, that are being manufactured, that can come in and curb issues to do with climatic changes? Because we still need to produce. If you look at statistics, it's being said that by year 2030, Africa will need to feed 8.5 billion people. Now, in terms of conservation agriculture, let's align that with implements.
So one of the challenges with that question
Yes.
is most of the conservation practices have been done on a commercial level.
Yes.
So the equipment that's been designed has been designed to target commercial acreage.
Okay.
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 But it doesn't say we can't start applying it at an entry level rate or a smaller acreage. What we can start doing is teaching guys better practices.
Okay.
Keeping residue on the fields instead of burning it off.
Yes.
Better water utilization, contouring, things like that. Maintaining the soil and doing better management on their soil.
Yes.
Things like big ploughing systems.
Okay.
Disc ploughs. They are an effective way of controlling or working your soil, but they're outdated. They cause more problems than they do good.
Okay.
There's a lot of newer systems that inline discs, things like that, that are able to do the similar job with less impact on the soil structure, less impact on the microbial structure of the soil, less impact on the residue. We're not burying the residue too deep where it's
Okay.
not going to be utilized.
Yes.
We're incorporating in that top layer of soil where it's going to be utilized and break down into humus.
Okay.
Where you're going to be able to improve the quality of the soil.
Yes.
Okay, so one of those things is something we need to target and get the guys. It's about education.
Okay.
Bring them up to a level where they can apply these things in a simple method to get better results and have the conservation in mind.
Okay. Yes, join us again in the third and final segment of your program. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers, to the third and final segment of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions Agribusiness. Now I am joined by Alistair, the General Manager of Brown Engineering Group. Alistair, thank you for gracing this platform with your presence today.
Thanks, Wadzi. Thank you so much, and appreciate the visit from you guys.
Yes. Now, as we are talking, Alistair, I understand that you are manufacturing tobacco handling equipment and stuff. How does that enhance productivity for a farmer, increase profitability, is yield maintenance? Can you say something about that?
Sure. So, Wadzi, our primary focus has always been on maximizing efficiencies.
Yes.
So our tobacco curing systems are designed to obviously produce a good quality leaf of tobacco in terms of curing.
Yes.
But on top of that, the system reduces wastage by basically our system handles from the picking from the field into tobacco clips, manipulator clips. That then goes onto a trolley system and into a tobacco curer, so it minimizes the breakages and the waste that falls on the floor.
Yes.
On top of that, in terms of coal, traditional methods of curing will use up to 4 kilograms of coal per kg of tobacco cured, whereas our systems will tend to use 0.7 of a kg by just the efficiencies we've managed to develop in our tobacco curing handling systems.
Okay, thank you. Now, as we get deeper into this conversation, Alistair, I want you maybe to enlighten our viewers the advantages that come with adopting these modern technologies. As we understand in Zimbabwe and world over, technology comes with expenses, but it's worthwhile. It's a long-term investment. Could you cite maybe just a few general advantages that come with adopting, new technologies?
Sure. So in terms of, I think one of the biggest issues facing our tobacco industry is the destruction of natural forest and timber resources that are non-renewable.
Yes.
And in terms of small-scale production, it's a massive problem. It's also a challenge that small-scale, with the technology that they have within the price range, are not able to use coal that easily.
Okay.
So in terms of trying to, some of the technologies we are looking at is more sort of linked to solar technologies and things like that, whereby we can try and see what we can do to try and improve on that the sustainability going forward. And right now, I mean, as mentioned, a lot of our sort of technologies get at the commercial side, but there are small scale products that we are developing, and these are the types of things we want to target as the massive problem of wood renewable forests, looking at that issue, going forward, because it's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. Now, Alistair, I've been asking this question to different, players here. I want you maybe to give us, from your own perspective, an insight into the coming 5 years. If our Zimbabwean farmers adopt these technologies, looking into the coming 5 years, a long-term plan, what do you see?
So it's a very interesting question.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say that particularly on the tobacco side of things, just the major concern is the wood. The reason that the timber, if you go to Malawi and fly over Malawi in an aeroplane, there's no trees left in that country, just about.
Desertification.
Yeah, desertification of the sort of the region, and it's a major problem going forward. And a time will come where our bulk crop of tobacco is not going to be, more and more. We've seen the small scaler making up bigger and bigger kilograms per year in terms of the national crop, which has been great because it's provided income for the small scale part of the tobacco sector. But what about the sustainability of that? Because if that timber resource runs out, a lot of small-scale tobacco producers are going to be out of business.
And that is detrimental for our economy, for our country, and even for issues to do with different sectors, players in the industry.
So, definitely.
Yes. Now, Alistair, as we round off this segment, maybe other sectors, other sections, other departments in Brown Engineering that you might want our viewers to know about.
Sure. So, Wadzi, our primary flagship sector is the agri sector, and of which we largely focus on tobacco, but also on that side, grain handling, grain drying, those sort of things. Structural sector we target as well, commercial structures. We also focus largely on fuel tanks and pipelines, that type of work. And then mining is also one of the things we have some focus on as well. So yeah, it gives a bit of an overview of what we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alista, it was a pleasure having you with me today. Thank you for joining us.
Wadzi, thank you so much. It's a pleasure as ours. Thank you.
Yes. There you had it, viewers. We're talking of farming technologies that can be adopted by our local farmers in order to enhance productivity. So for me, your host Wadzanai Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes, and of course, Alista, do you mind saying bye to our viewers?
Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.